Welcome to the Marketing Conversation series. I'm your channel host Rendani. Today I'm looking at this very interesting topic on the marketing plan. It is series 8 of our marketing conversation. Now, just to get the ball rolling, needless to say, running a business is comes with a whole manner of risks. This risk could be in the area of production, your finances, your people, and the market. The difficult part of dealing with risk emanates from the fact that the business environment is very unpredictable. It's littered with uncertainty. Now, the key remedy for dealing with business risk is planning. Now, due to its dynamism and complexity, the market is one area of performance that demands for diligent planning. There are so many moving parts in a market environment. After all, without a market, if you don't have a market, you haven't got a business. Why bother? Now, this presentation is going to help you to supercharge your marketing planning skills by giving you a marketing plan overview, a framework for planning your market. And the topics that we're going to look at include setting your objectives, how to define your target market, developing a competitive strategy, knowing how to do an environmental scan, and how to develop the marketing action plan. Lastly, we are going to look at implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of your marketing plan. Let's dive into it. Now, food for thought question. Tell me, what words comes to mind when you hear the concept marketing plan? Question number 2, food for thought number 2. How will you know if a marketing plan is successful? And where will you find information for your marketing plan? Important to note, the previous topics form the blocks for the marketing plan. Marketing plan, it's a framework, but the topics that we covered, like your research skills, competitor analysis, SWOT analysis, you have to pull them together to fill in the meat for your marketing planning framework. Here is the framework. The first task in planning your market is to set your objectives, and as you would recall, your objectives have to be SMART. What does it mean that your objectives have got to be SMART? It means that they must be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Now, what kind of marketing objectives can you come up with? They can relate to your level of sales that you want to achieve. Perhaps you want to win back lost customers. You could be wanting to introduce new products into the market. You could be wanting to identify areas of weaknesses in your business. Now, here's an example of an objective that is not SMART at all. I want to increase sales. Oh, this is a very dumb objective. Now, here is the SMART objective. I want to increase sales of hot dogs by 10% by 3 December 2025, 2020, 2030, whatever. Now, there's no ambiguity there. It's very specific. Now, you also have to list your products and services. In listing your products and services, it's important to explain the unique selling proposition. What will make you different? What will cause customers to choose you instead of choosing your competitors? You can also indicate the prices at which you sell your products, how much you buy them for, or how much they cost you to make them, and how much you gain per product. Very important. Next thing, you have to define your target market. How do we define our target? You get to know who are your customers. You got to know if there are segments. You've got to state your segments. For example, if that is market segmentation, grouping your customers into specific categories, and I'm talking about those customers with similar characteristics. You also have to understand their most important needs. Again, you need to know why they buy your products, how how much they buy, and how often, how much they are prepared to pay. That is the price at which they are prepared to transact with you. And where will you find them? Are they online? How are you going to reach them if they are online? Do you have a digital strategy? What lifestyle do they live? Because money follows lifestyle. What is their buying power? You don't just want customers, you want customers with money. Your marketing activities, what are going to do? What is going are you going to consider personal selling, then networking marketing, sales promotion, advertising, and public relations, sponsoring members of the community there, like schools and the like? It's part of your public relations. Implementation, you've got to implement and track progress of your campaigns. You will have your targets, you will have your actuals. Maybe you plan to sell 10 per day, and you are making you are selling 7 per day. Establish the reasons why and corrective action. The marketing budget. Your marketing plan has to have a budget. Market size and share. Remember, we talked about market size and share. You have got to be able to list it, and the target share. If you don't remember, go back to the previous series and revise as you construct your marketing plan. The sales plan. How are you going to acquire new customers? How will you keep existing customers? How will you diversify your products? What will be the makeup of your sales team, and how are you going to train your sales team? Competition. You remember we did competitor analysis. You have to know their names, where they are, their strengths and weaknesses, where they operate, their prices, their promotional strategies, all those kind of things, according to our discussion during competitor analysis. Competitive advantage. You have to know where the area where you are strong relative to your competitor. That's why you do competitor analysis, and go and check if you don't recall that one in the previous topic. The marketing action plan. Now you go back to the SWOT analysis that you did on your competitor and your own business, and answer the following questions. How will you use your strengths to eliminate weaknesses? How will you use your strengths to minimize threats? How will you use your strengths to take advantage of opportunities that are out there in the market? What actions will you take to implement the recommendations of customers? Brilliant. Who will be responsible for each action that you came up with, and by when will you action each of these actions that you came up with? Environmental scan. You remember we talked about PESTEL, where you're looking at the political environment, the economy, social. It has to be there. It's part of your planning. And then the last one is monitoring the outcome. Look at your plan. Was the initiative successful when measured against specific objectives? How will you measure the success of your campaign? What factors contribute to the success or failure of campaign? The metrics. What remedial action will be taken in the case of failure? That is very important. That concludes our marketing planning framework. And mind you, I'm just giving you the highlight. Here at Enterprising Conversations, we are practitioners who specialize in the provision of business development services. If you want to get a quote, reach out, and we'll gladly work with you in a way that will strengthen your ability to do it the next time. So whatever assistance that you need in relation to business development services, please reach out and we can give you a quote that is competitive. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next